viewers, and welcome to another boss guide tutorial video. I'm Daxter, and today we'll be covering Yuki-onna. Today I wanted to change it up a little bit and give you guys a quick overview of what my stats look like before we start discussing today's boss. And without further delay, let's get right to it. So, real quick, I know you guys are thinking, speed kill, how is he going to speed kill one of the hardest bosses in Nioh? Well, if you cut towards the end of the clip, you can actually see that I killed the boss in just over a minute and a half. She's actually what's commonly referred to as the glass cannon type. She deals a ton of damage, but she's extremely squishy. As per usual, we'll start by talking about the boss's abilities, and then we'll wrap up by discussing our recommended gear choices, as well as my strategy in defeating this boss in a minute and a half. So first I want to start off by saying this boss is almost 100% range based. She only has one melee attack, in which can turn into a double or triple, but only if the player is actually hit by these attacks, or within close enough range for a second attack. These can normally A, be blocked or easily avoided by rolling into her. I normally recommend rolling into her right facing shoulder, as the attack will usually glide right over you. Now we'll discuss Yuki's ranged attacks. The first that you see here is her Ice Breath. This ability cannot be blocked and deals water-based damage. It can usually be chained with her 1 or 2 hit cleave, so be on the guard for it. Because this attack can't be actually blocked, what I usually recommend is if you see her cleave twice, try rolling into her, as the breath will easily glide right over you. Now let's talk about Yuki's icicle-based projectiles. The first you saw is one of 2 variants of this ability. In this version, she will hold 3 icicles above her head, and they will fire 3 consecutive times for a total of 9 projectiles in the direction that you are facing, kind of like a cone. While Yuki casts this ability, she will track the player's movement. My recommended strategy for dealing with this ability is to back up as far as possible, as the cone will become wider, allowing you to take a few consecutive side steps to stand in between the projectiles as they come at you. Now let's talk about the second variant of this ability. In this version that you see here, she will summon 3 projectiles above her head, but fire a single projectile at a time. For this variant of this ability, I recommend sprinting left or right after taking a few steps back, as these attacks will also track the player. As a bit of a side note, when her health bar drops below the 50% HP mark, these casts will change from 3 projectiles to 5, making them even more deadly. Yuki only has one other ranged attack, which is her staff throw. If it hits the player, it will likely land up to 4 more consecutive hits, so be on guard for this ability. Next is her charging grapple. With this attack, Yuki will spin her staff in a circular motion and then hold it behind her, and it will disappear after a short amount of time. Then she will charge at the player and grapple them. The easiest way to avoid this attack is to roll into it, as it will normally glide right over you, or never be at her maximum range and stay at close to mid-range with the boss. Now we'll talk about Yuki's 3 ground attacks. The first you just saw is a bit of a slam. This ability has a short tail in which she'll do a quick whip of her staff and then stomp her foot to the ground. If you're right on top of her, a well-timed roll will allow you to avoid this unblockable attack. The second of this set of abilities is her ground circle, in which she'll summon around her. She has an easy tail for this attack, in which she'll spin her staff in an X-shaped motion and then summon a circle of projectiles above her. These will then strike the floor, leaving water damage in their wake. The player will continue to take damage as long as they stand in the pools. And for the last ability in this category, again, she'll spin her staff, but this time above her head, and then cast a large amount of pools in a rectangular shape at the player's feet. Get out of this ASAP. That about wraps it up for abilities, so now let's have a quick chat about recommended gear choices and key strategies to defeating this boss. As per usual, like I said in my last video, I really like the lighter armor tier, as you get extra key to play around with when it comes to dodging, sprinting, attacking, etc. As far as weapon buffs go, I really recommend the fire talismans, as long as the power pills from the ninjutsu tree, to maximize your damage. And as far as relics goes, obviously anything with high water resistance is going to be key in this fight, as the majority of the damage that you should be taking is only going to come from recurrent damage, such as the cone breath or the stuff that she puts on the floor. And now the moment that you guys have all been waiting for: how the heck did you defeat one of the hardest bosses in the game in under a minute and a half? Well, to put it simple, a pre-buff. I started off the fight by buffing with a fire talisman and a power pill before I even entered the room. Once I entered the room, I used the ball and chain weapon in high stance, and using the long range heavy attack to drop the boss's ki as low as possible. Once it was ready to break, I unleashed my volley of attacks until I was out of stamina. After that was over, I activated the lipping weapon to finish her off. As always folks, I hope you guys found this video useful, and if you did, why not leave me a like and maybe hit the subscribe button to stay up to date with my latest videos. And until next time guys, stay saucy.